we go. Welcome to the Ecstatic Business Show. I am so honored to be here with Laura Franco, who has an amazing story of doing her own healing work, but then also promoting healers in a really big way. She is a best-selling author, has published over 13 books herself, has over 75 Amazon best-selling books as part of her publishing company for healers at bravehealer.com. Her mission is to wake the world up to what's possible for healing one brave word at a time. Laura, thank you so much for being here. I would love for you to take us into that mission. What does that mission mean to you? Like, tell me, what is your vision for our future?
Thank you. Thanks for having me today. I love these topics. You know, waking the world up to what's possible for healing came from me saying to myself, Laura, what else is possible? And that was when I was in the crappy moments and I needed to flip my switch. I needed to be more aware, wake up in the moment so that I could even ask myself that question. Right. So for me, awareness is everything. It's where the conversation starts. So that mission, my beautiful community who all are kind of grabbing hands and helping the world wake up to what's possible for healing. That's the thing. So it starts with awareness for me.
Awareness of what? What should we be aware of?
Body. So I spent 30 years in holistic physical therapy. That was a first career for me. And it was an important one to get me to publishing for healers because I needed to be one and do it and speak the healer speak and really understand what the heck we were doing in the world. Yeah. Awareness of how you are feeling, awareness of thought. But for me, it started with body, like, what is that feeling I'm feeling? So, you know, fear, it's just a feeling inside. It's a pressure in your chest. It's a clench in your gut. So that's where the awareness starts for me.
I love this. I have only just recently begun talking about the ecstatic way framework more openly, but that's exactly what we do. We start with physical awareness, level of physical awareness. What are you feeling in your body? Then we go to emotional awareness. What are you feeling at your heart level? Then we go to thoughts. Then we go to your imagination, looking kind of to the past and then to the future. And then we raise the vibration into the spirit. And we get into a love space. And then we bring it back down. We go in reverse order. And it's like this little ladder that we ascend and descend. But yeah, I feel like it does. It has to start with physical awareness because your body does have this ancient wisdom that we have cut ourselves off from. And yeah, it's where the awareness has to begin if we're going to be in touch with ourselves, with the earth, with our surroundings. How did you get into this? So I know you had a background in healing, but why the pivot into publishing? What shifted that for you?
Well, you know, the funny stories of transitioning, and I ran two businesses for 5 years alongside each other. But I had been the physical therapist, but also a writer. And it started with blogging for my audience. I wanted to help them understand the healing topics. So I started blogging. I knew I would write a book. I finally published my first book in 2012. Brave Healer Productions was founded in 2016 because I had done enough writing, publishing, and business building to start to realize I could help people. Yeah. And so founded the second business, ran the two side by side for 5 years. I was transitioning for 5 years. That's the story that we're like, oh, that took you that long. But COVID did it for me. Like, I think the universe just said, okay, you're taking too long. I'm going to make this happen. And my physical therapy practice shut down in a day. Wow. And I had to decide what to do. And at that point, I just decided not to reopen. And I went 150% into, I can call it publishing for now. But what I feel like we do as a publisher is help people with all the rest of the things after publication. Like, well, now what do we do with this beautiful book? So yeah, it was quite a journey of transition.
Yeah, I can hear that. And with publishing, I know that I love publishing. I've done 4 books myself. I really believe that it's a powerful way for you to get your message out into the world and build your business. as a lead gen as well. How are you using books for your healers? What is your process that you take them through, and how are you seeing them leveraging this in their work?
So, a book well done will build your business and community. I should probably say community and then business.
Mm, okay.
And of course, it can be a lead generator because you're giving valuable information that helps people with a nugget, a first step, and then
Hmm.
hopefully they want to come for the second step and the third step and the fourth step. We all know that
Hmm.
that one step isn't the whole journey. So
Hmm.
the books are positioned in the marketplace to be valuable springboards where you can start with effective tools and strategies, and we share stories. Storytelling is a powerful healer,
Yeah.
but I wanted to set our, especially our expert collaborations, apart by sharing with the world that these are master teachers. They are sharing
Hmm.
effective tools and we're
Yeah.
putting them in the books. And so
Hmm.
I get to know, love, and trust you because you gave me that
Mm,
nugget. I'm going to
yeah.
want to come to the bio and I'm going to
Hmm.
want to find out more about you and hopefully take the next step with you. So that's
Hmm.
the short answer for that question.
I love this. And so we tend to work with female entrepreneurs. Quite a lot of them are healers or in the healing industry. What would you recommend? So we're switching into kind of practical. What can they be doing to help raise awareness for their work, to get more clients for their business? What recommendations would you make to a female entrepreneur that's starting out?
Very, very big question.
Hmm.
We're going to be publishing the Complete Small Business Growth Guidebook coming up in October.
Okay.
And the reason I'm doing that expert collaboration is because when I started as a business owner, this question that you just asked
Hmm.
me, what should you do?
Yeah.
There's like a million things that we should
Mm.
do.
Mhm.
So foundationally, you have to build relationships. And I would say if I
Mm.
had to give you one thing, it would be come into the current people that you're serving, build the next level deeper relationship with those ideal clients, and then go out and build a circle, a network of perfect collaborators, business partners,
Mm.
networking partners. Build better relationships and your
Mm.
business will begin to grow in ways maybe you can't even dream of right this moment because you haven't really spent time doing that. You know what you've spent your time on? Your website, writing your content, doing the blah blah podcast, doing the everything, right? And we
Yep.
all do everything, don't we? Like holy
Mhm.
moly, but if you don't have a community and a network, there's nobody to
Yeah.
play on the podcast. There's
Yeah.
nobody to read the blog. There's nobody to share your amazing stuff because you haven't done that
Mhm.
foundation first. So you can tell I'm excited about that, right? I wrote a whole book on this
Yeah.
topic.
I love this. Okay, so deep community first with your current or most ideal clients. How does that? Let's start there because I do feel like the key to any good business is having a really clear offer, knowing what your differentiated and profitable brand promise is going to be. I was joking. There's no such thing as competition. There's only a lack of clarity, right? So you like at that first level, how would you encourage people to get really clear on their brand promise, being that light to attract the right people? And how do you build that deep inner circle?
The motivation for this comes from this advice, or and maybe it's not advice. It's this thing we think we're supposed to do and have the million followers.
Hmm.
So, what I much rather have is my small email list of 150 dedicated people. Okay. And my email list is
Mm-hmm.
much bigger, by the way, now.
Yeah.
But like for all of you, you have to start at somewhere. And if you have five
Hmm.
people in your world, rather than going out and trying all the things to have the million followers, why not go back to those five people and invite them to a special interview?
Yeah.
And say, hey, person, I love you. Thank you so much for working with me. You are such a perfect, ideal client for me. I've loved working with you. Would you come talk to me for a few minutes? I'm going to be creating something new and I want to pick your brain about it because I don't want to guess anymore. I really want to
Mhm.
know more about you and what you need in the world. And they're going to say yes in a hot second to helping you
Yeah.
because they love you already. Right.
Mhm.
So in the beginning, that's the best business homework I ever got was to start to
Mhm.
actually talk to people that were already in my world, that
Yeah.
already gave me their credit card, that already gave me their trust.
Yep.
And when I went to them and started to get their actual words about things, then I could stop guessing at what I should create next. I could stop guessing at the next blog I should write. All the
Mm.
things fell into place really fast, actually.
Mhm. Yeah, that's so spot on. I actually have a whole sales survey just for that. So when I'm helping my clients pivot, either their demographic or their offer or their pricing, it's always go back and talk to your people, either the ones who have paid you already or the ones that you would love for you to pay, that you would love for them to pay you. And just ask them, what do you want? What would a dream come true look like? Why would you buy? Why wouldn't you buy? Get all of their objections up front. Have them tell you all the pain and the friction points. They will write your copy for you. Like, I think a lot of people are like, man, I need to hire a copywriter, or nowadays we use AI, right? But the best copywriters on the planet start with interviews. They go and they talk to your people and they just listen really deeply. Now, the thing that drives me crazy about those marketers is that they just ask the questions and they're just receivers. And I'm like, once you've received all of that and you've heard them, now it's so easy for you to say, you know what, I've got something for you. Let's co-create the solution. Would you like to move forward? And it's not even a sales conversation at that point. It's simply an invitation to say yes to the thing that they just helped you build. Like, it's the easiest thing in the world when you do it that way. I love that. So if anybody wants a sales survey, reach out to me at Caitlin@ecstaticway.com and I will definitely send that over to you. But yeah, so okay, so we're starting with this inner circle. We're listening deeply to the people who already love us, who have already kind of voted with their wallets that they want to work with us. We're allowing them to co-create this beautiful offer together. And now what? What's the next step from there after this deep inner circle community?
Well, jumping to the other piece, which for me in the game of networking was a bit next level. It's like I started to ask myself who the perfect business partner would be.
Okay.
So, who is a non competitive profession that serves my same exact ideal client that I can
Mm-hmm.
get to know and love and
Mm-hmm.
trust, and we can build a relationship for sharing purposes.
Yeah.
So, I think you and I both know it's way, way, way more fun when someone else sells your stuff for you.
Oh yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I come into people's worlds and I've purchased their programs. I've been a part of their thing. I bought their book. I did their whatever. I fell in love with what they were doing. I hired people that I fell in love with what they were doing. And then I
Mm-hmm.
just decided to have a little bit closer relationship with them because I was
Mm-hmm.
organically sharing for them anyway. I
Yeah.
was making introductions and referrals anyway. They were a perfect partner for me. So,
Mm-hmm.
3 of these will change your business. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't need a million of them. You need a few good
Mm.
ones.
Yeah. I love it. So give me an example. Who are some of your power partners that
Oh my gosh,
you
yes. I love to shout people out. So, Ginny
Mm.
Robertson, the founder of the On Purpose Woman Network, right,
Mhm.
is a phenomenal woman with a community of women who are all wanting to be seen and heard in the world in bigger ways, write their stuff. And Ginny has a platform with a very similar mission
Mhm.
where she offers all of these kinds of benefits to those same kinds of women who, maybe
Mhm.
write for her magazine or come in and speak at one of her networking gatherings. And
Mhm.
so that was a no-brainer because we were both doing the same kind of thing for the same person in different ways,
Mhm.
publishing and her community with her benefits, right? So that's one example. Melissa Demple, or Melissa Henry, she has 2 last names. She is a brand strategist and
Mm.
she has this beautiful photography talent. There were branding photo shots of me that she did that I years later am still proud to share. They showed
Mm,
me to the world, the real me. Like I saw them and I'm like, I love these, right? And it's so great to have a great photo, but the strategy
yeah.
behind the photo was the why to partner with her.
Mm,
Same deal. She's serving the same kinds of clients who are putting themselves out into the world in bigger ways through their branding visual piece
yeah.
and, again, complementary professions for that same ideal client.
Yep. That makes perfect sense. I love that. Beautiful. Okay. So we've got our inner circle of beloved clients who are helping us co-create an irresistible offer. We're building out our three, just to start, our three deep strategic partners that we like to do business and send referrals back and forth with. Um, okay. When should we bother with the big stuff? When should we bother with visibility and podcasting and blogging and all that kind of stuff? When does that come into play at all? Or does it? Do we need it?
Once upon a time, I created an email opt-in freebie called the 10 things you need to do before Oprah calls. And
Beautiful.
the deal is you got to have some ducks in a row, but this is going to sound really basic for a lot of people. I mean,
Mm,
as long as you've got a strong website presence that's SEO optimized and you're capturing names and emails, you actually have something there for people to purchase.
mm,
I would say if I had to leave it somewhere, I'd leave it right there. Those are enough
mhm,
ducks in a row that when you go to the podcast or you
mm,
go publish the book and there's a
mhm.
bio with your website,
Yep.
people are going to have a powerful place to land to go next, the next step,
Mhm.
right? So if you go try to get exposure or PR before you're ready, it's going to be a big bummer because there's
Mm,
nothing that's going to happen if nobody can actually buy your thing or read your
yeah.
blog or do your, or they have nowhere to land. So again, to me
Mhm.
now that sounds basic, but I started with not enough of my ducks in a row like everyone else.
No, I mean, closed my first $300,000 deal without a website. And they were like, "Well, where's your website?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't have one." They're like, "You should probably build one." I was like, "I'll get right on that." But yeah, I at that time in my business building, it wasn't the thing I quote wanted to build. Virtual coaching sales wasn't the thing that I was excited about. It was just that thing I did to make money. And then it turns out that's the thing that has made me millions of dollars, and the things that I keep trying, my little passion projects keep dropping out. So it's always so funny to see like how sometimes your zone of excellence can become kind of a financial foundation for your zone of brilliance and genius. But yeah, so we ended up putting together something like a website the first time. But yes, I think it's easy for us to overlook the basics. It's just having a landing place. And it doesn't even have to be a true website, it can literally be a landing page that just has your name and your bio and a click here for your free offer or a click here for your paid offer. And I love that you just simplify that down, because then you're right. When you start doing, and I personally love podcasting, like podmatch.com, there's an easy way you can either find guests if you want to do your own. I find that podcasting is a great way for me to meet my ideal clients and referral partners, as bringing them onto the show and hosting them, or going out and being a guest and having some message that I want to get out into the world in a bigger way and saying, hey, can we build an episode around this? I will say, just personally, I found that the easiest way for me to get a podcast guesting is to have a really kind of like clickbait almost title for my episode. And so help the host out, like help them see, here's why people are going to want to click on this show and watch it and increase your downloads and share it with friends, because that's ultimately what they're looking for, is how can they get more visibility for their show. But that's a really powerful way to build visibility for free, pretty much. I love this. Oh, Laura, you are like packing out all of the goodies. What else do we want to share? What else would you like female entrepreneurs and healers to know?
Well, I mean, a couple the basic foundations we talked about, but next for me was building the community, and I had to have a place, and
Mm,
Facebook has been a place for me. It's been a free place, which was
mhm,
beautiful from the start, up until now. But gathering people together to serve live would
mhm,
be, they're getting to know you, love you, and trust you. I serve with
mhm,
a free networking event on that
mhm.
runs out of a Facebook group. But,
Okay.
once email list is set, your landing page is there, and now you're building your community. Well, what does that even mean? Are you
Mhm,
gathering? Are you, in this big world of internet, like in person versus not in person? I
mhm,
chose to serve through a group where I had people come in and it was all free. Like, hey, let's vibe
mhm,
together. Let's talk about these deeper healing topics.
mhm,
Let's talk about the books. Let's talk about what we want to do next with our businesses,
mhm,
and creating something for myself where people were joining me in that
mhm,
setting, in that community setting, was probably the next thing on my list that I would tell other people is like, how can you create something like that for yourself based
mhm.
on your expertise,
Yeah.
right? They're going to want to come learn from you, and they're going to want to come meet the other people. And when you
Mhm.
can do an event like that, for me, it's been the way that I built my business.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. I think, yeah, I feel like for me, community building is one of those things that I do instinctually, but not consciously and structured wise. So you mentioned kind of a Facebook group, a free networking event. Um, do you find that there are sort of just easy ways to start pulling your people together and, yeah, making that feel more easy and organic?
Of course. There's all, I mean, that's easy to me though.
Mm.
So that
That's
part,
the easy
that
part.
is easy to me, easier than that. I don't
Mm.
know, just talking to people. How about that? Like,
Mm.
I did a lot of one-on-one networking for many, many years. And that's how I
Mhm.
slowly built the community, one person by one person. Is it
Mm.
easy for you to have a conversation with someone? I wrote a book called Networking for Healers because
Mm.
I realized we were all doing our magical work of healing, but we were not doing any networking and building our
Mhm.
community and business with other healers, or doesn't have to be a healer, it could be anybody that
Mhm.
would serve our community. I was kind of in my little box doing my own little magic thing here. Word of mouth referrals were really good for a really long time. And then when I had a bigger vision and a bigger goal, I'm like, whoa, well, how do I get there?
Mhm.
Well, I had to talk to more people and break out of my introvert box
Mhm.
and and play in that arena, right? So I think the
Mhm.
easy button is just networking and having relationships with people you want to get to know. Start with
Mhm.
that. Start with those ideal clients. Hey, how can
Mhm.
how are you? It's
Mhm.
been a while since we first started working together. How's it going? Is there anything
Mhm.
else I can do to help you? Right, and just deepening that relationship, but then going out and meeting more people.
Yeah, I love that. And nowadays, I know that there's like LinkedIn that allows for one-on-one networking. It's so funny. I've been digital my whole business career. I don't even know how to do in-person networking anymore. But where are you finding that there are good networking watering holes? Where are you loving to be these days?
Gosh, quite a few. I just put out an email to my big email list about this because the challenge was there's so much out there now online. It's hard. You're not even really sure what's good. So you go visit
Yeah.
for free and you get a taste of it, right?
Mhm.
I mentioned On Purpose Women Network,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
we can put links for people later if you'd like.
Yeah.
Thewellnessuniverse.com,
Okay.
another really amazing network. Um, Epic Fit Network for people who are tired of playing small and ready to go to the
Mm.
next level. Go big to give big. Randy
Mm.
Mullen. Randy, I'm giving you a shout out, man. Wants to help businesses strategize a give back component to their business. So they're
Mm.
not only doing world changing work in the world, now they're giving back with the world changing work they're doing. And it's 10x, honestly.
Oh, I love
His
that.
community is outstanding. The impact circle is outstanding.
Mm.
I could go on and on. I put 4, 5, 6 of those into my email because I said, you guys, I've vetted these.
Mhm.
If you want to play in something that I've played in already and I can talk to you about, and I just want to make it easier for people because there's
Yeah.
just so much out there, you know?
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. I'm gonna have to go back and pull those and drop them in the show notes because yeah, I'm always looking for great networking where yeah, where I can find people who are aligned with my vision and my values. Yeah, I think it can be really challenging, especially for healers, to find those conscious business networking groups as opposed to the traditional, I will say masculine, but in the negative way that we've inherited of like just always be handing out business cards and making sure that they know everything about you. And so finding the places where it's like, are we an energetic match? Like I just had a girl on the show last week where we met at a podcast and it was literally just a feel thing. I was like looking at the gallery of faces and it was like, that one, she's my person. Right. And so, yeah, I've just realized I don't want to go an inch deep and a mile wide anymore. I really want to go an inch wide and a mile deep with people and really invest heavily and reciprocally with really beautiful humans. And that's fulfilling for my soul. And I think for me, at the end of the day, as I think about marketing, it's really bringing it back to intuition. It's bringing it back to energy. It's bringing it back to pleasure and just saying, okay, what brings me joy? What lights me up? What could I do that would help build my brand and expand my reach and serve my humans in a way that makes me feel excited and lit up as opposed to like, oh gosh, marketing, right?
No doubt.
Beautiful. I love this.
Yeah, hence your
Well,
title too. Like, if I can
yeah.
be in my own bliss and ecstasy, if I can be in my peace zone, if I can be
Mm,
in there energetically every day, oh my gosh, I think that's 95% of the game. And then the rest
right?
falls into place. But we're afraid a lot of the time.
Mhm.
So we grasp and we strive and we do.
Yep.
Some of my best weeks have been when I decided to sit my butt down in the chair and bask in the sunshine for a few minutes and do nothing, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to try meditation and it didn't work for me, but basking works for me.
Yes.
In the sun, in the divine, just yeah, that pretending I'm a cat and just stretch out and enjoy the rays of goodness is really fun. I love that. And that actually kind of leads into more of like the spiritual component. I know we've talked a lot about practical and business and tactics, but I want to give you permission to just go metaphysical also. What are some of your favorite recommendations, especially for women? I think we tend to be spiritually attuned creatures. Uh, what would you love to say to them on kind of a deeper level of what's really going on in the world these days?
Mm, what a great question. So, yeah, I think I did segue pretty well just now with the basking because
Mm,
if you realize that it's really that connected channel that you're after,
mhm.
and instead of I even said it to someone the other day when I was receiving healing work. I said to her, meditation even feels like doing to me now.
Mm,
It's
mhm.
something I had to put on the list to do to get myself somewhere because everyone
Mhm.
in the world is saying you have to meditate to
Yep.
do this thing. And she's like, she had this big nod going on when I said that
Mhm.
because I told her about my basking in the sun moment, and abundance can flow from that nothing. I call it
Mm,
nothing for now, but it's not nothing. It is
mm,
deep, channeled connection to divine source. This is important. And maybe it sounds woo to you all, but for me, it's proven itself so often that now I
Mhm.
just have to remind myself, nope, go back to that.
Yes.
Don't do one more marketing thing today, Laura. Like, don't burn
Mm.
yourself out. Just go bask. And sure enough,
Mhm.
I'd get a phone call. I'd get an email. I might open up my mailbox and there'd be a check. Like it was like, what just
Mm.
happened?
Yes.
So I will tell that to anyone who wants to hear it. Maybe they're like,
Mhm.
"Ooh, I don't know about that. I'm supposed to do this, and that." Are you?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a couple years ago, there was like the New Year's Eve resolution. I was like, okay, what do I want to do this year? And I was like, you know what? I was listening to an Abraham Hicks video and I was like, you know what? I am not going to do anything until I'm in the vortex, right? Like, so my New Year's resolution was just don't do anything until you're in the vortex. Once you're in this vortex, she calls it, of beautiful, loving, faith filled enthusiasm, then just kind of feel into, okay, well, what feels fun? What feels easy? What feels light? Um, and start taking inspired action. Like, so anytime I feel the word should, either like coming out of my mouth or I feel it in my body as I'm writing my to-do list, I'm like, oh no, red flag, got to cross that word out. Let's get rid of that sucker. And go deeper into what feels fun and joyful and loving and kind.
So I just got to
So
see her a few weeks ago. Like,
oh
I
yeah.
followed her forever and never went to an
Mm-hmm.
in-person thing until a few weeks ago. And I came back with such a super boost of her principles and her
Mm-hmm.
practices that I've been stalking on YouTube for like years.
Right.
And it's really what we're talking about today. It's just moving
Mm-hmm.
into that space. But a business coach put it in an opposite way. I won't call it negative, but I think it might wake
Mm.
a couple people up. If you are too tired, a little burned out, not feeling super great that day, in a kind of a bad mood, do not create anything from that
Oh
place.
no.
So
Yes.
you said the opposite way of saying that, and now I want whoever needs to hear it in whatever way you need to hear it. It's like, ooh, and this made me
Double
pause.
underline.
Yeah, like I had to pause, even things that were on my schedule that
Mm.
I'm like, ooh, am I going to cancel because of the way I feel? Yeah, today I think I might. But
Mm.
I also got into the ninja, I call them my ninja moves of awareness, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I could flip into that with 3 deep breaths, so be it. I'll keep my schedule. And I got good at changing my energy. So it's all awareness, going
Mm.
to go back to the awareness thing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a really keen insight because I feel like a lot of high achieving women, we've gained so much success in our yang masculine energy, the do, achieve, achieve, achieve. And then we get really burnt out. And I feel like a lot of us swing into too much yin energy for a little bit, but I think it's healing, right? This like, I'm fully surrendered. I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do. I'm just going to like treat responsibilities cavalierly and I'm just going to be really selfish. And I see this like pendulum swing into the yin and I've seen like my own experience with that and seen it in other women. And then I feel like the next level of enlightenment is coming together and having this really balanced yin and yang, where to your point, it's like, no, I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do, but I can make myself want to do whatever I need to do, right? Like that I can adjust the internal barometer system to handle the pressure and the responsibilities that I've said yes to, the commitments that I've said yes to. And I'm giving myself permission to renegotiate when I need to, right? But recognizing that so much of our suffering, I call it emotional suffering. Like pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. The suffering component, this is when we have an emotional response to a story. I'm too tired. I'm not good enough. This is too hard, right? Those stories can end up messing with our energy profile. And then we say, okay, you know what? I'm going to change the story. Like, what could make this fun? Like, I tell my kids, I'm like, you always have to do the chore, right? You have to do the dishes, even if you don't want to do the dishes. But how could we make it more fun? Could we play your favorite music? Could we make it a game? Would you like to ask for help? Would you like to, like, how could we make this responsibility that you have, because we are humans and we are in community and we do have commitments and responsibilities that don't always feel light and fun and airy fairy. But we can bring our true essence. We can bring our positive energy. We can shift the experience of those almost instantly. To your point, in 3 deep breaths, we could be in a place where we're actually grateful that we have dishes, that we're grateful that we had food to put on those dishes, right? That we can see this as the way that I bless my family. We've stopped calling them chores. We call them contributions now, right?
Nice.
What have you contributed to the family today? But yeah, I love that we can shift the inner game
Oh, and you said it,
when,
gratitude.
yeah.
It's the
Mm,
ultimate shifter. I was thinking it, and then you said it. I have dishes to put food on.
mm,
I mean,
yep,
so it doesn't even matter if you are breathing, you're good. You got
yeah,
gratitude,
yep.
you know? So
Mm-hmm.
we've got water to wash the dishes with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's
Right?
just
We
so
have clean water coming out of
yes,
the faucet. We didn't even haul this 3 miles from the river. Like,
yeah,
yeah, it's
so
insane.
much.
Hmm. I love that. So yeah, we've covered so many good elements, practical strategies for building your brand, co-creating offers with your inner circle, expanding with strategic business partnerships, creating a foundation for visibility in your website with free offers and paid offers, expanding out to visibility. What can you be doing to offer free experiences, pay or free Facebook group, free networking? Like, how can you bring people into that outer circle and start moving them towards your center circle? We've talked about metaphysics. We've talked about gratitude and energy. Ah, this has been so much fun. Laura, is there any, I want to make sure that people know how to find you. So if you are a healer and you are interested in that outer circle, how do I start raising my visibility? How do I start sharing my work with the world in a bigger way? I highly encourage you to go check out Laura at bravehealer.com. Check out what she's doing with her collaborative books and get that word out there. Start being a best-selling author. You can also check her out at lauradefranco.com and go deeper with her there. And Laura, I'd love to just let you have the stage one last time. What if there was just one thing that you could have women entrepreneurs remember as they're moving forward in their day with all of the responsibilities that they have and all of the initiatives that they want to do in the world? What would you want them to just anchor themselves into today?
Well, it's all been said, written, and done before, but not
Mm,
by you. So
mm,
your voice and message and work matter. It might be the very unique way only you express an idea that changes someone's life. So it's time to be brave.
mm. Time to be brave. Ah, I need that more than you know. This is this is such a season of transition for me. So grateful that you were here with us today, Laura. Thank you for sharing all of your wisdom and look forward to seeing how we can collaborate and partner.
Thank you. Thanks for having me
Yeah,
today.
my pleasure.